I'm Comrade Shane, and welcome to Juche Lesson. As an independent creator, my work on all channels and platforms is sustained through the generous donations of supporters and comrades, and allows me to focus as much time as possible on content creation and communist education. My PayPal is in the description of this video for anyone who is able and would like to contribute, and I am soon looking into setting up a Patreon. Thank you, and red salute, comrades. In the struggle of revolution and communist construction, to keep the principle of independence in politics is an important issue of decisive significance in realizing independence from oppression of humans by humans and all other fetters. Or, in other words, in realizing communist society. General Secretary Kim Jong-il once said, quote, "Maintaining independence in politics means upholding national independence and sovereignty of one's people, defending their interests, and conducting politics by relying on them." Unquote. This principle has two essential contents. One is to defend national sovereignty and independence, and the other to defend the interests of the people and conduct politics by relying on them. To keep independence in politics is, first of all, to defend national independence and sovereignty of the people. This means to enable the people to exercise sacred rights of national self-determination as masters of the country and to solve all problems by the strength of the nation against all sorts of subjugation and dependency of the nation. In order to keep independence in politics, the country and nation should be independent politically and defend national independence against foreign dependency. The people's independence can be achieved when national independence is gained and sovereignty is maintained. To effectively defend independence in politics, it is important to defend people's interests and conduct politics relying on them. To realize politics that defends their interests is to make politics serve the realization of the demand for independence of the people who want to live independently as masters of their destiny. In other words, it means to make policies of the party and state in accordance with the interests and independent rights of the masses, and solve all political problems in the direction of implementing them. To conduct the politics that defends people's interests is the requirement for the Communist Party and the people in each country to defend their status of masters. As the masters of politics are the party and people in each country, it is the right of the party and the people to defend their interests. If they are to exercise this right, it is important to set the goal of defending the interests of the people. Only when politics defend the interests of the people and solve all political problems according to the will and demand of the people can the people exercise independent rights as masters of politics and defend the position of masters. When the party and state fail to conduct politics that defends the interests of the people, they cannot exercise the right of masters in politics, nor hold the position of masters. To make politics serve the interests of the masses is an important guarantee for making the working people hold the ruling position and standpoint. It is an important requirement for defending independence in politics to set the goal in defending the independent interests and find the means of realizing politics in the strength of the people. The strength to defend and realize the interests of the people can only be done by the people for the people. Depending on others, it is impossible to conduct the politics that suit the will and interests of the people. Dependency leads to the deprivation of the right to politics, and such dependent politics can be submissive politics. Therefore, in order to conduct independent politics that defend the interests of the people, it is important to conduct politics depending on the strength of the people. Political independence is the first criterion and life and soul of the independent sovereign state. The independent sovereign state is the country that exercises the rights of national self-determination without being subordinated by others and solves all the problems by its own strength. In order to be an independent sovereign state, the country should be independent in politics, self-sufficient in the economy, and self-reliant in defense. What is most important here is political independence. That is because the criterion for the independent sovereign state is political independence. There are many countries that cannot act properly as an independent sovereign state, because these countries have certain structures, but they have no political independence in content. The criterion for the independent sovereign state. These countries cannot exercise political sovereignty and thus follow others in conducting politics. When politics is subordinated, its economy and military also subordinated. A country without political independence cannot be called a truly independent sovereign state. The independent sovereign state should apply independence in politics, make politics independently, and exercise complete equality and sovereignty in external relations. Political independence, after all, is the first criterion for the independent sovereign state. Political independence is also the life and soul of the independent sovereign state. A country without political independence is not a real country, just as a person without independence feels as though they are already dead. A country that was deprived of its political independence and cannot ensure independent rights for the people is a country only in name. The revolutionary cause to realize independence of the people is decided by political independence. This struggle is arduous and complicated. This struggle takes place amidst constant aggression and interference of the imperialists. This being the case, if one cannot defend political independence, one cannot conduct the revolution and construction properly. To follow another's instruction in the end leads to ruining of the revolution. Such facts can be found in the tragic events that socialism collapsed in the Eastern European countries. To keep the principle of independence in politics is a serious issue concerned with the destiny of a country and the revolution. Finally, what position does this principle take in realizing the independence of the people? As mentioned already, politics is a social function to control and organize in a uniform way the activities of the people according to the common interests of a class or society, and so it is decisive in social life. Politics is therefore the fundamental issue concerned with the destiny of the people. In order to realize independence of the people in all fields, it is necessary to defend the principle of independence in politics. Apart from this, any other kind of independence is simply inconceivable. Hence why it is only natural that the anti-imperialist, anti-colonial democratic revolution precedes the socialist one, rather than the other way around, as many of our reactionary Western communists would have us believe when they preach the value of using Americanism to make socialism more appealing to the layman American, aka using right-wing populism to quote-unquote sell socialism, and why oppressed people should support them because, quote, after the revolution they can realize revolution, liberation, unquote. Both of these things are reactionary, wrong, and demonstrably wrong, as proven by history of struggle for socialism. Juche in ideology finds its expression in the independence in politics. As ideology decides human behavior, when Juche is established in ideology, one can defend independence in politics. In this sense, the establishment of Juche in ideology is primary and important. Self-sufficiency in the economy and self-reliance in defense are guaranteed by independence in politics. As the economy and military affairs are all controlled by politics, when independence is defended in politics, it is possible to build a self-sufficient economy and self-reliant defense. Depending on others in politics, one can never build economy and military power for the people by the people. Therefore, to keep the principle of independence in politics is the fundamental issue that has decisive significance in realizing humanity's independence from all feathers. That's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any ideas for future videos you'd like to see on this channel, please leave your suggestions in the comments. Be sure to check out our other social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks again for watching.